He recompensed them by increasing their sickness. And here the Shaykh says that this is what is mentioned by the scholars as al-jaza'u min jins al-amal. Al-jaza'u, the reward or the recompense, min jins al-amal. It is similar, it is of the same type as the deed or the action that one does. Here it was because of their hypocrisy and doubt in the truth. Therefore their reward or their recompense is that Allah increase their doubt and increase their hypocrisy. After that, he says that this statement that in their hearts is a disease, so Allah increased their disease, and the reward being like their action, more disease. He said this is their punishment in the dunya, in this world. Allah punished them in this world by increasing their doubt and their hypocrisy. And he said this is similar to the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concerning the disbelievers of Bani Israel, that which is mentioned in Surah Al-Saf, chapter 61, verse 5. The saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الْفَاسِقِينَ. That when they turned away from the truth, فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا, when they turned away, أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُم, then Allah turned their hearts away. يعني الجزاء من جنس العمل. When they turned away from the truth, not accepting it and not believing in it, then Allah rewarded them, He recompensed them by turning their hearts away further from the truth. So the punishment, it is in accordance with the sin that they have committed. When they turned away, Allah turned them further away, and Allah does not guide the sinful, disobedient, rebellious people. That is their reward in this world. As for their reward or their punishment in the next life, it is what is mentioned in the saying of Allah at the end of this ayat, وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ, that they will have a terrible or painful punishment due to their lying, the lying that they engaged in when they claimed that they believed, while in fact they did not believe. Then the Shaykh says that what is similar to what Allah has mentioned, the story that Allah has mentioned concerning the munafiqeen in the verses of Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verses 8 through 10, similar to that which Allah has mentioned here is the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concerning the hypocrites in Surah An-Nisa chapter 4 verse 143, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ. That indeed the hypocrites, they seek to deceive Allah, but in fact Allah deceives them. And that is the just reward for their attempt to deceive Allah, that Allah caused them to be deceived. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا قُسَالًا. And this is the description of the hypocrites, that when they stand up for prayer, they don't really believe, but they have to pretend to pray in order to deceive the people. So when they stand up for prayer, he said, قَامُوا قُسَالًا. They stand up with laziness. As though they are not really feeling like they want to pray. They feel lazy. They don't want to be bothered with it. But they have to go through the motions in order to deceive the people. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالًا يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ. And they only are showing, the people. They are making a display. They are doing it to be seen by the people. This is from the characteristics, the sifat of the munafiqeen, that they perform acts of ibadah just to be seen by the people. They don't do it sincerely for Allah, but they do it so people will see them, so people will think that they are from the believers. يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And they don't remember Allah إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, except a little. Their remembrance of Allah in the salat or outside of the salat, it is very little. The salat is remembrance, but for the hypocrite, there is not much remembrance of Allah in the salat because there is no sincerity in their salat. Then he describes them finally, مُذَبْذَبِينَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ لَا إِلَى هَؤُلَاءِ وَلَا إِلَى هَؤُلَاءِ. That they are swaying between this and that. They are not with these, the believers, nor are they with those, the disbelievers. They are going back and forth between them, not really being from amongst the believers, nor being from amongst the disbelievers. وَمَن يُضْلِلِ اللَّهُ فَلَن تَجِدَ لَهُ سَبِيلًا. And whoever Allah leads astray, after they have turned away, then Allah turns them further away. Whoever Allah leads astray, then you will never find for them a way to the straight path or to the truth. There will never be a way for them. The Shaykh Abdul Rahman al-Sa'di, rahimahullah, in his tafsir of this ayah from Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 143, concerning the hypocrites, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us about the hypocrites. What was their condition, or what was their state? The disgraceful ugliness of their characteristics and their vile character. He said that their way is that they seek to deceive Allah, meaning they outwardly show al-iman, but inwardly they conceal disbelief, kufr. And they think that this will, they will get over with this. They can fool Allah and Allah would not know, or that Allah would not reveal or manifest or expose them to His believers. They think that in openly showing iman while hiding their kufr, that they will get away with it, that Allah will not know it, or that Allah would not expose them to His servants, the true believers. But the fact of the matter, the reality of their condition is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deceives them by simply leaving them in this condition while they continue going on in this condition, thinking that they are deceiving someone, while in fact they are the ones who are deceived. So what greater deception is it? That a person strives, a striving for something that what it returns to them or what it brings to them, their every effort only brings to them al-hawan, wal-zil, wal-hurman, yani contempt or humiliation and disgrace and deprivation. Every effort that they make to achieve, they only achieve disgrace, and they are humiliated, and they are deprived, and they are in contempt because of their attempt to deceive Allah and those who believe. So Allah caused them to be deceived themselves, and they lose out the true loss. After this, the Shaykh, he goes on to say in the tafsir of these verses that this alone, the fact that they are the ones who are really deceived, this is enough to indicate or to point out the defect in their intellect, the defect in the intellect of the one who attempts to deceive Allah and those who believe, such that the defect in their intellect is so great that they have combined between two things, al-ma'asiyah, sin or disobedience to Allah, and they see that sin as being something good, and in addition to that they have joined to it their thinking or their imagination that what they are doing, it is something of intelligence, or that it is a real successful scheme, when in fact it is no more than disobedience to Allah, and it is only self-deception, and they are the ones who go astray. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves them, abandons them, the one who does so. Allah abandons them and leaves them in misguidance. And then also from the abandoning of them on Yawm al-Qiyamah is that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in another place in the Quran, in Surah Al-Hadid, chapter 57, verses 13 and 14. Not only Allah abandoned them in this world, but He will also abandon them in the next life on Yawm al-Qiyamah. As He said, يَوْمَ يَقُولُ الْمُنَافِقُونَ وَالْمُنَافِقَاتُ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا انظُرُونَا نَقْتَبِسْ مِن نُورِكُمْ. Yani on that day, yani the day of Qiyamah, the day of judgment, the hypocrites from a male and the female hypocrites, they will say to those who believe, the true believers, they will say to them, wait for us, so that we may take something from your light, the light that Allah would give to the believers on that day in order for them to proceed. قِيلَ ارْجِعُوا وَرَاءَكُمْ. It would be said to them, return to the rear, go back. فَالْتَمِسُوا نُورًا. And take or find some light there. Go back and find some light. And when they go back, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَضُرِبَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِسُورٍ لَهُ بَابٌ بَاطِنُهُ فِيهِ الرَّحْمَةُ وَظَاهِرُهُ مِنْ قِبَلِهِ الْعَذَابُ يُنَادُونَهُمْ أَلَمْ نَكُنْ مَعَكُمْ, to the end of the ayat. Yani Allah subhanahu wa